Let's get to the latest on this story from Fox News correspondent Jonathan Sears.
NASA officials say they have contingency plans for bringing the astronauts home from space, but their goal is to stick with the spacecraft that brought them there. The Boeing Starliner remains docked at the International Space Station while engineers analyze data from tests on the ground. This to determine what caused 5 of the spacecraft's 21 maneuvering thrusters to fail as it approached the ISS on June 6, a day after liftoff. The team is also studying small helium leaks. Both problems are located on the service module, a portion of the spacecraft that is jettisoned during the return
I died because of a grenade. I'm not opening the door.
Boeing want to study the issues while Starliner is
There's no need to open the door in round 3.
We're enjoying their time and we're making
no need to open the door in round 3, dude.
They've conducted a lot of extra
research. I'm not going to open it. You know why? Because there's no need to open the door on round 3.
Missions to the ISS, saying the Crew 9 mission will launch in mid-August.
The overall sequence is to undock and bring Butch and Sunny home on Starliner, and then go launch the Crew 9 mission, and then do the direct handover and bring Crew 8 home.
While it's still docked with the space station this weekend, Starliner will test fire its thrusters to give engineers more data. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
Thank you, Jonathan, for that report. Earlier today, we did hear from some members of the Crew 9 team. They were participating in a news conference where they answered some questions. Let's watch.
Keep going and doing it. I don't lose my point.
For the Crew 9 patch, we of course have Falcon. This is some synergy between Crew 9 and the Falcon 9 rocket on which we will launch. Our destination is the International Space Station. The constellation in the background is Draco as a nod to our Dragon spacecraft and the engines that will take us there.
You're doing this is going to make me not open the door just so you're tracking. I will not open that door now.
To the maritime signaling flag for the number 9, fun fact. And the purple was serendipitous, but we
don't know why you opened that door. It's only round 3.
Expedition 72 patch
what a waste of our time.
Led by Don Pettit, who is already in Star City on his way to the International Space Station in September. And it really is a nod to the long-standing history
of the space station,
which has been human-occupied for more than 20 years now.
Give me crate, give me crate.
Of course, the space station is quite a bit different than it did in Expedition 1, and I'm very grateful to be flying with people who actually helped in its construction.
Okay, we'll take our next question on the phone bridge from Bill Harwood with CBS News.
Thank you very much. This is a question for Nick, I think. How is the only guy there I know of, anyway, who's been through a rocket anomaly? How closely have you guys been able to follow the Falcon 9 anomaly investigation, and how confident are you in your rocket? Any thoughts you have would be appreciated.
Yeah, I'm extremely confident in the team, the approach that they've taken, the integrated approach in which NASA has been incorporated into the response, and am excited to strap onto the rocket when the team decides it's time to go. Yeah, we've been integrated. We actually were out at SpaceX and Hawthorne training, and it was the day after the anomaly, and from the get-go, they brought us into the conversation and told us everything that they knew. So it's been a spectacular response.
Yeah, I completely agree. We've been so grateful for the transparency and the collaborative nature of this as we understand what happened and how we move forward. We are really confident, and we will go when the crew is ready, when the rocket is ready, the capsule is ready, and the space station is ready for us.
Okay, we'll head back to the phone bridge. Our next question is from Elizabeth Howell with Space.com.
Thanks everyone for finding the time. I'm just curious if you're going to be doing anything fun for some of the sports events that happen, especially in the fall. So I was thinking maybe the World Series, or if you're staying that long for the Super Bowl. What do you folks want to do?
We would love to be involved with any and all of the sports events, and there's a wonderful public affairs team at NASA that I'm sure will work those events for us and tell us the best ways that we can contribute. But celebrating sports and wonderful events on Earth is a nice way for us to stay connected, for us to have a little bit of fun aboard the International Space Station. So we look
you walk straight in front of me, dude.
Sporting events as we're able to, and as the PR team assembles that plan together for us.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Sophie with Cosmic Chicago.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. This question is for Stephanie. Several
I'll keep doing it. I'll keep my money.
Since your last space flight.
Doesn't really matter.
Bio that you've done a lot of behind-the-scenes work prior to different missions. A lot of us don't get to see that work. One of the panels that you worked on was as a representative to increase crew size generic operations panel. It doesn't have an acronym as far as I know. But can you tell me a little bit about some of the work that you've done that's informed the current situation on the space station, or what you hope to see, given that right now we have a huge number of astronauts on station? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And yes, as part of my work in between missions, I participated in a panel, as you said, called the 7 Crew Joint Operations Panel. And at the time, as we were building the International Space Station, initially starting as a crew of 3, building up to a crew of 6, and then having a team to look at how we would, in a stepwise manner, institute and build up the systems that could support 7 crew. And so all of that work laid the foundation to our operations for today, as we're able to have 7 crew members aboard the International Space Station.
There it is, baby boy.
As a steady state operation. And so excited that as part of being able to build the International Space Station, now having an opportunity to return and to see it all assembled, and actually to have a chance to visit some of the components that I've done for earlier space flights, but to really see that ongoing presence, to see how the systems continue to operate. And in some cases, some of the science experiments also have continued or stopped for a portion and then recontinued. Really
whatever. His fault for dying, not mine.
Things are operating now.
No need for me to even help him.
A chance to experience that and tell a story.
Okay, our next question is from Douglas with Payload.
Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So my question, I think it was Ian that mentioned that a lot of the science would be studying how their bodies react to a longer stay in space. I was wondering what the mentality is going into a 6-month stay on the ISS, knowing that your body's going to be undergoing a lot of stress, and like you said, kind of mimicking the aging process. How do you kind of reconcile that and prepare yourself mentally for that aspect of the mission?
For me personally, it's actually incredibly fulfilling. It's such a privilege to fly in space, and if what our bodies are experiencing can then also help us understand diseases and different effects to compromised populations on the Earth. This is incredibly valuable, and so for me, this is just a giant privilege. Of course, we know that our bodies are going to experience changes. We do so much to help mitigate and prevent those changes, from exercise to support from nutritionists. I think it's fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to participating in research as both a scientist and
Okay, we'll take our next question here in the room. Go ahead.
This can be for whoever wants to answer this. Over the last few missions, we've seen some really interesting bites at the apple, if you will, of how to share what the day in life is like on board station. Do any of you have anything in particular, either in collaboration with some folks that are there currently at the station or have been on station?
I think somebody already has.
Cooking up behind the scenes that you can share with us?
Yes, I think we all have different approaches to this, which I absolutely love. On board during our expedition, we will have crew members who were born in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and so we all have a really complex story to tell. Don Pettit, our crewmate launching on Soyuz, is an incredible photographer. I'm really looking forward to not only seeing what he produces, but learning from him and hoping that I can get even a tiny little bit of his expertise while we're there. Stephanie, meanwhile, really wants to share the story of how station has evolved since she started participating in its construction. But I'll let other people add how they want to contribute.
Yes, I would, as Zina mentioned, like to, in a way, chronicle the assembly of the International Space Station and over the period highlight certain components or systems or payloads or window facilities that we have added to the International Space Station. trying to tell the story
I'll take a pack of punch
perhaps how that component flew and some initial information about the background and then how it's being operating today. I think that that's a great way to tell the story of the International Space Station. It is a wonderful orbiting laboratory that we have the honor of working with our colleagues, our international colleagues, and doing this international research. And it's just one way that we can tell our story and bring everyone along with us.
Okay, we'll take another question here in the room.
Gene Sinceri, she's actually
the thunder gun.
You know, two of you have been to the space station before, and last week we heard the plans on how station will be deorbited. So is this a little bittersweet for you guys going up to station?
You know, there's a lot of time before we get to 2030, and so I'm looking forward to all the things we're going to accomplish before we get there. It is amazing what you are able to get involved in over the course of 6 or 7 months. You just become part of this machine, this living, breathing laboratory that's up there, and you feel the extension on the ground to the hundreds and thousands of people that are supporting you day in and day out. And then you land, and you've almost forgotten everything that you did up there because you were going so fast and chasing that red line and trying to get everything done that you could possibly do. So I'm excited to grab the baton again and see what we can accomplish.
All right, we're listening here to members of the Crew 9 team. They were speaking and answering some questions at a news conference a bit earlier today. Live look there over at the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Folks do actually want to step away for a quick commercial break. One more time, look at this tweet because this is a story out of this world, and we're going to continue to look out for it as this crew is expecting to lift off no earlier than August 18th. Again, this tweet from the NASA commercial crew. But we're going to step away for that quick commercial break. We'll see you back here right after this.
I kind of wish he didn't do that. That prick his ass.
The worst hostage crisis in American history begins.
Good time to go hit the box.
Infiltrate the most dangerous country.
Out of aim it. If somebody definitely has a thunder gun, fuck me.
Good mythical morning. It's really going pretty fast now.
Oh, that looks fun.
Oh!
What the hell? Who else in the mythical kitchen where dreams, well, they become food?
Where's the omelet?
What do you think happened to me now? I think it's this. Bring the Diet Coke fire hose. Oh, you dirty dog.
Dare to dream, find, enjoy in the meaning of home, wherever that may be. Stay home and stream free.
I got what I needed, I got what I want. I got what I needed, I got what I want. Anything else but this girl. This gun still was just so good for the ground.
Weird Al is taking the world by storm.
I think Madonna's a bad influence. No.
I got what I needed, I got what you want. I need speed color, baby.
We want to turn our attention to
the
headline that we have been following throughout this week, and that is the climate crisis. Record-breaking heat waves are being felt around the world, and nations are now trying to come together to help ease all of the dangerous weather that we have been seeing. Do you want to get to this tweet here? Just kind of continuing to talk about this very big story. This is from UCLA Environment. It said Monday shattered the global temperature record set just 1 day earlier, marking the hottest day ever recorded on Earth. UCLA climate scientist for the West tells PBS this is yet another illustration of just how much the Earth's climate has warmed. Earlier today, we did see the Secretary for Treasury, Yellen. She was in Brazil speaking on new climate goals and again how nations are coming together to combat this crisis. Let's watch.
It's not that important. It's not that important.
So as I did mention, of course, this was being held in Brazil, so you are going to hear a few remarks there starting up in Portuguese.
Hey, look what I got. Look what I got. Look. Ooh, nice job. Good job, bro. Good job. Good job.
The Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen, she has her headphones on so that she can get the proper translation. And this entire meeting was to highlight the climate goals that nations are looking to fulfill as we continue going forward. And taking a look at some video that we do have here, it kind of showcases how this climate has really been impacted so many cities. In fact, just yesterday we did speak to a climate scientist, and he basically told us that this is the coolest summer, if you can believe it, that we are going to see in our lifetime. It's only going to get warmer as the years go on. I would like to get back to that event we have scrubbed through and are finally going to hear from the Secretary of Treasury. Let's watch.
The next one I have to get is speed color.
Our two countries' long history. There are deep ties between the United States and Brazil, including a strong trade and investment relationship. Our countries also share a commitment to sustainable and inclusive development, recognizing that as the two largest economies in the Western Hemisphere, advancing work on climate and on nature and biodiversity can bring benefits not only to both of our economies, but also to the region and to the global economy. Today's announcement also builds on significant efforts.
Oh, if I'd have known that, I just lost out on 100 bullets.
In recent years. Since the start of the Biden administration, we've worked to increase collaboration with Brazil on shared priorities related to climate and the environment. Brazil has put these issues
Come on, give me speed cola, baby.
agenda for its G20 presidency.
Damn, one more?
Together pursued ambitious work, including through the multilateral development banks and climate funds. We're also strengthening coordination to disrupt illicit finance from nature crimes. This spring, we further deepened our commitment to collaboration in the aftermath of the unprecedented flooding in Rio Grande do Sul. It was one of far too many recent tragedies that reveals the great threat that climate change and the loss of nature and biodiversity poses to lives, to livelihoods, and economies around the world. Our new partnership
Kennedy, what are you doing?
On work we have each been pursuing. In the United States, the Inflation Reduction Act and bipartisan infrastructure law are making our infrastructure more resilient, supporting investments in conservation and driving growth in clean energy industries. Treasury is leading the implementation of the Inflation Reduction Act and pursuing many other actions, including launching the principles for net zero financing and investment last fall, and principles for responsible participation in voluntary carbon markets with other U.S. federal agencies this spring. Meanwhile, Brazil is pursuing a wide range of policies and investments that showcase how an emerging market can conserve natural resources, protect biodiversity, adapt to a changing climate, and build clean manufacturing.
Fuck off! Give me stamina! I mean, no, not stamina, fucking speed cola. Fuck me.
including an
Just give me all these shitty ass perks, bro.
ecological transformation plan, from designing innovative green investment platforms to launching new carbon market designs. Our long history, recent joint work, and complementary agendas
I need self-med after this.
Gain from additional coordinated and collaborative action. With this partnership, we now plan to work together bilaterally and multilaterally to address today's most pressing environmental challenges and strengthen the region's green economy. Our work will be focused in 4 key areas. First, we intend to bolster our clean energy supply chains, including by developing policy tools that crowd in private sector investment. Second, we intend to support efforts to improve
fuck off, motherfucker,
and effectiveness of voluntary carbon markets, including through holding technical exchanges. Third, we intend to work to mobilize finance and develop innovative solutions.
Deadshot, fucking. At least give me cherry, bro. Fuck.
Including through the multilateral development banks and multilateral climate funds. And fourth, we're committed to joint work to facilitate countries' ease of access to multilateral climate fund resources by working to simplify and harmonize the process, increase ambition, and mobilize private finance. Across these and other areas, we will benefit from each other's leadership and expertise. So let me thank Minister Hadaji for our ongoing and future collaboration. I very much look forward to the joint work ahead. Thank you so much.
All right, listening there to some remarks made by the Secretary of Treasury, Janet Yellen. She was in Brazil earlier today, highlighting some of the climate goals that multiple nations are trying to achieve. Again, we have set 2 separate records this week for the warmest days ever recorded on Earth. A look once again at that tweet from the UCLA Environment saying this.
I had the most kills.
Global temperature record set 1 day earlier, marking the hottest day ever recorded on Earth. UCLA climate scientist Weather West tells PBS, quote, "This is yet another illustration of just how much the Earth's climate has warmed." We're going to step away for a quick commercial break. Many more top headlines next.
I just need a couple points.
Sports Extra, your free destination for all things sports. Enjoy your favorite leagues and stars.
Hell yeah.
Along with the greatest combat franchises you crave. Bare Knuckles Boxing, BYB Extreme, NLW, Up Next MMA, and so much more. Watch the sports you love 24/7. This is BN Sports Extra. Available on Roku.
Had to, bro.
Where all country music's biggest stars come to hang out. The best songs, biggest stars.
Max!
All in one place. iHeart Country Radio.
Yeah! Everything will be alright, man. Everything will be good. I just sit here and I wind up.
Yeah, you have some fun. What did you have in mind?
And then they started.
One invasion. One friend.
Did you kill Elizabeth Ross Quinn?
I'm not going to make the same mistake I made with your father. I have several questions.
Welcome to the Rich Eisen Show, right here on the Roku channel, the latest in sports, the world's greatest athletes.
Yo, you're done. You're not getting red. You bought that door. You're done.
That's how we roll on the Rich Eisen Show.
Why did you buy that door?
Good mythical morning.
Bro, you ruined the game. Now we have to camp out here. And this is not the best place to camp, let me tell ya. Let me tell ya. I need to get monkeys. Let me hit this.
You're watching Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Carla Hara. We do want to turn now our attention to a story that is quickly gaining
self-med.
Taking a look here.
Not crate power, bro.
Mexican drug kingpin Ismael Zambada Garcia, also known as El Mayo, who co-founded the notorious Sinaloa drug cartel, was captured in El Paso, Texas last night. Also taken into custody was Joaquin Guzman Lopez, the son of El Chapo. For more on this story, I'd like to get to a report from Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera.
Hey, one of you guys might get lucky and get the thunder gun. Who knows? I just need my keys.
Leaders of the notorious Sinaloa drug cartel. Ismael Zambada Garcia, known as El Mayo, and Joaquin
leading the cartel's criminal.
Wait a minute.
El Mayo, one of the cartel's alleged co-founders and long sought after by U.S. law enforcement, was unknowingly lured to the U.S. on a
by another birthday.
pretenses by Guzman Lopez, the son of the cartel's other co-founder, El Chapo. The Sinaloa cartel is one of the most powerful and violent drug trafficking organizations in Mexico.
Fucking A, bro. Haven't you learned your lesson the first time?
And other drugs throughout the United States and Europe.
This capture is huge. It's still early to see what the impact will be in Mexico, but it's certainly going to change, no question about it.
In a statement, President Biden commended law enforcement for arresting the two men and for continuing to bring Sinaloa cartel leaders to justice. El Mayo and Guzman Lopez joined other top Sinaloa leaders in U.S. custody, including El Chapo, who was sentenced to life in prison on drug conspiracy charges in 2019.
The Justice Department will not.
You would have never opened that door, bro.
Every single cartel leader, member, and associate responsible for poisoning our
around
is held accountable.
The Justice Department says both men will make their initial appearances in federal court the coming days. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News. Thank you, Madeline, for that report, but I'd like to continue on this conversation.
What's up, bro? Whoever just joined, what's up?
Beth Sheridan, she is with the Washington Post and actually the chief bureau chief, over there in Mexico City. Mary Beth, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us here. We got a little bit of a snippet
Dang, I missed it.
Package that we heard from Madeline, but this is a big deal. What just happened last night, the capturing of these two highly coveted and profiled individuals. So tell us exactly how were they able to be captured in Texas?
I just made an oopsie.
Well, it's really a strange story. We've heard a couple of versions. One is that they gave themselves in, but the other version that we're hearing from several officials is that actually
I can't use that.
Mayo Zambada, the elderly historic drug dealer who was so important in the Sinaloa cartel, was tricked into getting on a plane thinking he was going to look at some real estate investments. But in fact, the plane was headed to the U.S., so he was actually, according to several officials, was tricked and suddenly found himself landing just outside El Paso.
Tell us more about El Mayo, his profile, if you will, his background. Why is he sought after, and he has been sought after so many years by authorities here in the U.S.?
That's right. You know, he was partners with El Chapo Guzman in really creating the Sinaloa cartel, which is just this massive global organization that's moved tons of drugs and obviously is seen as one of the pioneers in really flooding the U.S. with fentanyl. But whereas Chapo was this very kind of showy guy with lots of girlfriends and tunneling out of prisons and so on, El Mayo was very low-key, believed to live in like a rural part of Mexico, never in the press, and was thought to be this kind of savvy operator who was as important as El Chapo, maybe more so, even though he was not as well known to the public.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, and I think it segues us to the next point of this other question that I want to ask. For our viewers who aren't so familiar with the drug trade and cartels down there in Mexico, tell us about how powerful the Sinaloa cartel is.
So for a long time, it was seen is the most powerful cartel. Now there's a rival, the Jalisco cartel, also really important and with a lot of control.